Welcome from our side. That means, as I said in the beginning, from me, Stefan, and Mircea, who is on the chat. For those of you who are new, and today we have also a lot of customers in our webinar, you are all muted. This is because of the possible background noises, interferences, and all that stuff. We mute everybody. That means if you have an urgent question during the webinar, you can every time use the chat and question function in the software in GoToWebinar. That means you can make a question while the webinar, and Mircea will have a look at it. We will also record this webinar so that it's then also later available in Partner Portal. And for the customers, of course, we can also send you, the partners can send you a link or can provide you the file. So this is not the problem. Of course, if there are other questions regarding X9 and all the stuff, please ask your partner or directly ask them. As you know, this is not a problem. So we from the schedule, we have roughly, let's say, an hour. It's really a webinar which is called Highlights of Genesysworld X9. There are a lot of functions coming with this new version in different parts of CAS Genesysworld. That means a lot of things mobile, a lot of things web. So I really concentrated on the highlights. So these are not all the functionalities we implemented for this version. Yeah, I tried to split it a little bit. I have some slides in the beginning. Of course, we will concentrate later on the live presentation and question and answers, as I said, possible during the chat, of course, or during the webinar, but also after the webinar, we will be available for some more minutes if it's, let's say, a bigger question where some more sentences have to be written to answer them. So the agenda is a mixture of, as I said, slides and live presentation showing the highlights of X9. And let's just start. Which are the highlights from the CeBIT, where the X9 was first shown, to now the release of X9, which happened, let's say, 2 weeks ago. The X9 was released for customers in all the available languages. And I just have some things here on the slides, which I explain a little bit more in detail, and we will see then practical examples live. One thing is what we actually are doing is we integrated the so-called fan principle into CAS Genesysworld. This is part of the, let's say, customer centricity approach, which we have for some years right now in products and services. I will explain on a later slide what this fan principle means and what it is. And but from now on, it's also available internationally in all the clients. That means you have it available mobile, means in Genesysworld Web, as well as in the desktop client. Another big thing, a highlight, is the app designer. The app designer started in X8, where you are able to customize our mobile applications. Means the mobile apps in Genesysworld Web very easily, very straightforward. And here we extended the possibilities very much in X9. We have now link fields available. We have scripting available. That means with scripting, you are able to make checks, validations, and all that stuff. And we extended also on some minor things in the app designer. It's a real powerful tool where you can easily bringing your processes into the complete mobile world. And this is really a big highlight where we also, I think, differ from a lot of our competitors around the world that we offer here for you. That means for our customers, a very straightforward tool to bringing mobile processes into the CRM world. The apps, the next topic, mobile everywhere, were also very much extended. One of the things we brought into X9 is the so-called offline mode. This was also available in X9 as a caching of the system, and now this functionality is extended. That means you can bringing own data record types. You can work offline. You have also the validations from the app designer offline. And why we do that? Because still in a lot of countries and a lot of customers, they want to work mobile, but they don't have everywhere the sales rep or the service guy is working full internet access. But he wants to make the sales visit report. He wants to create a new contact, edit a document and all that stuff. And therefore, this offline mode is really dramatically extended in X9. I will try to show you later on live what is possible. Yeah, the smart customization, I already mentioned that this combines a little bit my first two things. It has never been so easy to make individual solutions. That means to customize the mobile solutions with the app designer and bringing your individual processes, update, save into the CRM world. The business card scanner is also new. That means we launched it around before CeBIT, first for German-speaking contacts. Now it's available for all the 11 languages, where you easily can scan a business card and bring the contact details then into CAS Genesysworld. It's free, of course, so it's nothing you have to pay for it. You can also use it independently without a CAS CRM infrastructure, and we also integrated it, of course, into the apps. That means you can start creating a new contact with the business card scanner directly out of the Genesysworld app, which we'll see later on. In web, I will show you most of the things live, also desktop and modules, but some things we also later see on the slides a little bit. A complete redesign of Genesysworld Web, the smart design technology with state-of-the-art floating labels, material design. The wiping is gone, and I will show you that later on also live. You can the fan principle is integrated. You can see contacts in the cards. So let's see these things later on when we go to the live section. As I already mentioned in the beginning, let's have some words about this fan principle. The fan principle, which is now integrated from X9 in our products, is founded by a company here in Germany. It's called Forum, and it makes it possible to evaluate the individual emotional loyalty of a customer. That means speaking today of I have customers is in this principle not enough. Because you have customers who are really fans, like from car manufacturer, or for Apple fans or Android fans or Harley Davidson, with which they have tattoos on their arms. They're really fans, and no matter what the company is doing, they will buy a new Harley Davidson, for example. But there, on the other hand, there are other customers who, if somebody says this bicycle is this bike is as good as the other one motorcycle, and it's 10,000 euro cheaper, they will leave you. Yeah, so they are not loyal to you. That means they are maybe not. They are also customers, but they are not really fans. They are more somebody who likes the product, but he's not in a deep emotional relationship. And this is the idea of this fan principle, fan portfolio. That means that in a way, you can identify in your CRM contacts the fans and followers. That means the contacts who are really enthusiastic about your products, but on the other hand also identify those who where you have the risk if for example if you're selling hardware, if another company opens which is a little bit cheaper in your region, that you are going to lose them. And then you can start typical CRM actions by phoning them, by making campaigns and all that stuff. So this is the idea. That means it lets you identify, as it's written on the slide, the fans, but also customers who are looking to switch away. And and this is shown in different ways. Yeah, we have a widget which is shown in desktop and web client, and it's based on surveys. That means you can send out the surveys of the fan principle via email to your customers, leads, prospects, wherever you want. And you can send it also according different aspects for CRM, for hardware, for infrastructure, for CMS. Yeah, so because maybe they are very satisfied with one sector, but they are not satisfied with another one. And then the system shows shows you the results either in a map or in a dashboard, or in there's also report existing, or in that widget. Yeah, so this is the basic idea of this fan principle to measure the emotional loyalty of customers, which I think is at that time very, very necessary, because this old customer term, I have customers, this is it's really not state of the art anymore, because you have really to see which are people who are stand to your company and products, and which are those who are maybe leave quite easily. We will see also that live. So I also wanted to make some slides to explain you the things, but we have plenty of time to see the things also in the live section. App Designer, I already mentioned some things about that. And as I said, in X9, the highlight is we extended the existing functionality a lot with scripting. That means with the scripting, you can make formulas, validations. For example, if an opportunity is over a certain amount, to this and that. If a contract is about to run out, please remind me. There are lots of very good things you can think about here. And the good thing here is it's completely update safe, and it's also available in the app world. And as I mentioned in the beginning, also these validations are supported offline in the new Genesysworld apps. So logic fields, formulas, validations is possible. I will show you also a very small example later on. HTML apps is also something new. That means you can bring in your own data record types. That was possible before, but now HTML apps, like an Outlook web app, like an DMS system, like ERP, which is a web URL you can integrate. And you can be sure that we will extend this functionality in the current versions, or in the coming versions a lot. So this is absolutely the future. And these are only the highlights. Yeah, we have also link fields and other things integrated in the software updates until X9, and there's a lot of new things also to come, because to bringing the processes, your processes, the processes of you as a customer, which are always individual in the CRM system, update safe, very flexible and easy is a key goal, and is crucial for the success of a CRM implementation. Here, what I already mentioned, but I will show you that live as well. The Genesysworld web and the apps have a completely new look and feel. So we did really, although they are not old-fashioned or old, we did a complete enhanced facelift. That means with floating labels, land onto the material design, better readability, responsive design, optimize the transitions, higher performance. And we did that in both the web client and the mobile apps. And using them is easier than before, and it's an absolute user friendliness. A state-of-the-art usage is absolutely guaranteed. Because also here the demand for using a web or the mobile applications is absolutely given. So I will also show you that live, and you already know that. Maybe we jump to the next slide. We have native apps for every platforms. And as the facelift affected not only the web client but also the apps, means that that the usage is still similar and you get the same functionality, because as you know, we have in all the platforms we provide the same functions. So you have really the best user experience for native apps. This is really important. Native apps which use really the capability of mobile devices, which browser app doesn't, and this is also done by a lot of systems. And as I said, expanded customizing possibilities. We have the primary linking brought into the system, and then really extended offline usage with also offline data capture possibilities, which I will also show you live a little bit later. To sum it up a little bit, we have more business scenarios for employees here who are on the road. And I know when I speak to our Dutch partners or Dutch customers, they are always looking a little bit astonished when I tell them there are in Germany still parts, or in the German-speaking Europe, parts where you have absolutely no internet. But we have also customers who are operating, for example, in Africa, selling goods there, in Asia, in regions where, broadband is not still active. And also for them, we want to provide a very powerful solution where they can work with the mobile solutions. And of course, we integrated the card scanner. I already mentioned that. Yeah, card scanner. Only some remarks. I already mentioned some facts available for Android and iOS. It's a separate app which you can download from the shops, the portals, Google stores. That's the right word. And we did our whole CBIT lead process with that app. Yeah. So in former times we had also we worked with paper, and we had a paper lead, a piece of paper lead sheet. Now we scanned all the business cards and all that stuff. So it's a tool which supported also ourselves at the CBIT lead process. And some weeks ago, there was a new version where also the languages, the 11 languages CAS Genesysworld is supporting, is coming to the stores, who also here foreign contacts or the scanning of foreign contacts were supported. And as I said, you can also use it independently. Yeah, the smart design using concept I already mentioned, new animation design, floating labels, enhanced read and edit mode. We have new toolbars, really a complete redesign of the system. Responsive, the HTML app, also new functionality, which I will show live, addresses in map view. So we put in a lot of effort here to make the smart design technology affecting Genesysworld Web and the mobile solutions with a state-of-the-art, new, easy-to-use user concept. Yeah, and we did a lot more. So as I said in the beginning, the webinar is called Highlights, so I don't have the time to show you everything. I only wanted to mention some things. Of course, third-party system support with the new Windows versions of SQL and server. We enhanced XRM mails for creating a subject. We made a complete new replication, means the offline for the desktop client via web interface. It's really a complete new development. We enhanced the project management in Genesysworld Web. We started with Skype, but also made it cooperation with one of the biggest manufacturer of voice over IP software in Europe, Swix, and started to enhance unified communication. We started some pilots where we have our ERP Connect technology, the ERP Connect, which is brought to the CAS Open Sync technology in one of the next versions. So there are pilots out there with partners and some customers, which is also on a new a new development. So you see a lot of things happen at CAS to provide you state-of-the-art solution with a lot of functionality you can use out of the box. Yeah, some things in the modules and the desktop, because we also not forgetting our Genesysworld desktop. We extended currency functionality. That means you can translate currency or recalculate currency in opportunities and projects. You have now products in different currencies, which is for our international customers, for you, which was a wish for some time. You have the opportunity to have optional positions, alternative descriptions that I will show later on also a little bit. We also made in the desktop client, we extended the Outlook integration so that you have a desktop CRM really within Outlook. I will show that. Skype is integrated now in the desktop client. The smart search was brought to opportunities, registrations, distribution lists. The sorting of international input assistances were changed, and some things more. So I can't mention everything. Help desk, one of our popular modules, has a completely new help desk online portal, a new facelift, which I will show you. We have an automatic ticketing now from an email account. Forgotten password functionality is about to come. So also here a lot of new functions. In project module, we have also in the desktop client the alternative product descriptions, which also come in Genesysworld Web, of course. So also here a lot of things in the desktop client. The fan principle is of course also implemented in the desktop client. So you see in a lot of let's say sections of the solution, means mobile, web, modules, and desktop. We brought a new functionality. But let's now switch a little bit from the slides to the demo, and let's first start, of course, with the web client. And I already mentioned that let's I log out and log in again. So complete new facelift. You see that also here from the login masks. That means we really changed the complete way Genesysworld Web is working with floating labels. For those of you, this is a term coming from Google, who don't know what is mentioned. If you know Genesysworld Web X8, here the the name of the fields was always on the left side. That means bigger user interfaces looked quite full. You didn't have so much space available, and floating means if you see I'm now in the company field, and if I type in here now a new name, the description is hovering above the field. That is what is mentioned by floating. So you get, of course, you have a better readability, you have more space, it's easier to use, it's more intuitive, it's state of the art because it's something Android is also heavily using. So, and this is changed in the complete Genesysworld Web. You also see that the user interface here changed. That means we changed a little bit the way how does it looks like with this floating labels. So it's much easier, not so much information on screen. What also changed is it's now responsive. That means if I here minimize my screen size, you see that the 3 buttons and are also taking into account that I have less space, so complete responsive design adapts to the screen size. The wiping, which was also in X8 Web, when I, for example, now open a data record type, is completely gone. That means no more wiping, which is coming from left to right. You have only this small loading bar, which is also you see also in other applications from Google and iOS. So we have a very small loading bar. You see also it's much faster, so we have a significantly higher performance also with that change. And we really wanted to give you here the best usage possibility we can provide. Also, the edit mode changed, which wasn't in former times an own window. It's really now an own window, which you can scroll. Very intuitive, very easy to use. And for those of you who use Genesysworld X8 Web, it was the user interface got in an edit mode, but it wasn't a real own window. What is also changed is, maybe you saw it already, that the toolbar also changed. So we have here a new toolbar concept. That means on the first here on this action menu, you have direct access to important functions like all the creation stuff, but also the display of report. You have here the linking, the link with, so you can link it with all the data record type available. This actions menu shows you important functions for which are mentioned, and then you have this edit mode or the edit user interface which you can start. And let's maybe jump to a list where we list of all companies, where we also see here that we have this toolbar concept here with this action menu and the most important buttons. So the functions for standard buttons such creating a record, editing and saving are always found now on the right on the new toolbar. You also see that if I, for example, let's edit, for example, here Mr. John Doe. So we have here the saving, the deleting on the right side always, and here the cancel on the left side. So these are always small things, but as I said, the goal is to have the best user experience for you, means the customers and the users, to have it as easy as possible to bringing the information in CRM, because this is something which is really crucial, that people have a little bit at the end of the day also fun to bringing data into the system. Let's start a little bit now with the functionality I already mentioned. We talked about this fan principle. That means you have here in Genesysworld Web a widget that you see that ACC techniques answer the surveys in a way that they are really a fan. So this is the legend. So you have fans, you have people who are only simplifying with you, you have really opponents, so somebody who's forced to use the software, but at the end of the day, he's really not liking the thing. Mercenaries, so somebody in the middle, and captives. This is shown here as a widget into the results into the web, but you can also with the app designer remove it if you don't want it or you want to do it later on. How it's realized in the desktop client, I will show you later. Another functionality, another function which is now available in Genesysworld Web is the possibility to show data records in the map. For that, I opened here my leads. That means that was a list view of leads, which I now show in the map. For those of you who already use the functionality in desktop client, this is very similar. That means you see the results now on the map. On the right side, I can have here additional functionality with the radial menu. I can also click on here a contact to see results in the map. I can also start zooming or shrinking it here, but from X9 on, it's possible in Genesysworld Web to show contacts here in the map views. They are also in the apps. This was possible some versions ago. Another thing I already mentioned, let's jump to opportunities, where we did quite a lot of things. If I have an opportunity, I already mentioned that I have optional now optional products. If you have a look here on the right side of my user interface, you see that I added Genesysworld Platinum, but it's not written in the same way. It's a little bit gray and italic, and you see also that the total amount is not, the sum is not coming into the in the sum. That means when I select a product and add it, let's cancel it. I show you here. Yeah, so I can here say optional. Yeah, that means it's an optional product. You all know that if a customer says, I'm not sure, please can you give me the alternatives in the quote? And of course there it's necessary that the alternative is not taking into the, or it's not affecting the total sum of the opportunity, and that you see it from a visual point of view. So this is one change, which is also of course in desktop client, but also in web. And what is also now coming is that I have different currencies available. I show you that in desktop client as well. So I can choose in which currency now the product is coming into my opportunity. And another thing is that I can have here so-called alternative descriptions. I made here a long and short description of a product, but of course you can also use languages. I can say this is the English, the German, the French, or the if you live in Switzerland or you're in Belgium, the languages you speak in the countries. So you can have alternative languages, alternative descriptions in every product, and these texts are also taken over if you create a quote out of Genesysworld Web or desktop client, which I skipped for time reasons. So these things are also brought, of course, into the quote, and the texts are also supported by Easy Invoice as well. So if I select it, let's skip that. I have then here the alternative text and the optional stuff also in there, and currency also possible to how you can set that up. I will show you later. I also mentioned this, of course, the app designer, which is really a highlight in Genesysworld Web. So, and for those of you who know him already, I need to be an administrator, of course, and I start now bringing my app designer into work, and so I start the session so that it's then active and I can use it. And first thing is that I can bring in here a complete new app. Now we divide in X9 between web app. As I said, you can bring any target address. You can change the background color. As I said, this can be a web interface of Outlook, of other system. It can be a web page, maybe from a web shop. There are a lot of things we can integrate here. And the idea, of course, is that people, that the users don't have to change the application. They can remain in Genesysworld Web, in their CRM, and working on that. The native app, this is also something which started in X8. So I have here own created data record types. For example, I have here a house or machine because I'm an architect. I need an object house, and yeah, I can translate that and bring it into the house. The house into the system. That means I have here a new app within minutes or seconds, and can start then customizing also the user interfaces. And of course, you can bring these new apps also to the Genesysworld mobile world, means iOS, Android, Windows Mobile app as well. So it's very easy, as I said when we saw the slides, to make really customer-specific processes update safe with this app designer. Yeah, means bringing your own data record types with user interfaces here. I skipped that with the user interfaces because this is something which was partly also available in X8. What I wanted to show you is a little bit from also the scripting. That means, for example, if we go to John Doe and we want now to have some additional information, we start with this pencil, the editing of the user interface. And yeah, I want here in this contact information, I want some additional information. You see here that you have now a database field, link field, and script field. Yeah, in former versions there was only the database field available. Link fields means if you want to see, for example, the linked tickets or linked also the linked houses, for example, from own data record types here. I want to show you this new functionality of scripting. Yeah, that means I created a script field, and I want to see the age of the person. I knew it, what it was. It was something. Let's put it also in age. So, and of course, we will not do some JavaScript training here. So I provide something. I already prepared something, a very small script which just showed you, which just with which I would just wanted to show you what is possible. So this script shows you here the result. So John Doe is 42. Yeah, as we know, that 42 is the middle of the the universe from Douglas Adams. Yeah, I can apply that here. And if I now publish here this customizations, first I leave the edit mode right now. I see age is now 42, and what this nice little script is doing, it's just looking at the birthday of John Doe, which is stored in the system, and then calculating the age. Yeah, and this is just showing you what is possible. Yeah, I already mentioned some other things like you can do it with contracts, opportunities, validations, reminders, hint texts. A lot of things are possible. And for the customers, please ask our partners, because yeah, the partners are certified in that, they are trained in that. Ask the partners if you see the necessity that you have here a very specific process realized there, and they can consult you and give you an idea how this can be realized. But this is an extremely powerful possibility to make a very customer-specific tailored solutions, either in Genesysworld Web or in the mobile solutions. And as I said, also in offline mode, this is available. Just to give you a last example, we had a nice showcase at a venue we did recently, where for also a customer of us, they are architects. They too, in an offline mode in the app, they measure a new building, and this yeah, the width of this building should never be negative. And there was a formula who prevent that a person doing, for example, a negative amount of the height and the width of this house. And this is also, it's just was just coming to my mind, an idea how you can use that. Okay, so that's for the app designer, a really powerful thing. And as I said here, you can publish the customization, though that's now available for everybody. and we leave a little bit the Genesysworld web and coming now to the mobile world. For that, I start an emulator. This is an emulator where the Android, the recent recent Android app is shown. I already mentioned that we have this facelift also here in the new apps. That means in the X9 app. I have also here, you see this new design pattern, very easy to use, very straightforward, where you can enter. We have also, let's skip it here, let's remain here, scan business card. This is also something where, yeah, I can start the business card scanner, which I can't show you live because I'm in the emulator. And also some other two things which are new. Let's have a look at that. For example, here the primary link support. So I have my parent data record type, which was coming in one of the last versions. It's one of the major features which were recently coming. Offline mode, we talked about that and how you can switch on this offline mode. You can start here, save local data. And for those of you who are a little bit more technical, the framework we're using here is completely new. It's not, because caching was also available in X8. We changed that on our Open Sync framework, which is the basis of Exchange Sync, which will be the basis of the new ERP Connect as well. And as a result of that, it's really significantly faster in syncing than before. It's very, very fast. And you can also say synchronize it also via mobile network. Maybe you know, if I can go to a data record and say here, make it available offline. If I do that, I have it here also available offline in a list view. Also, the information from the dashboard, that means the appointments and the linked contacts are synchronized. And what is now coming is that all record types are available offline, also your own record types. They can be recorded and changed offline. The input assistances are available for offline processes. From the app designer, the scripts are available offline for making offline, for creating offline data records. So also the extensions with the app designer are available here. So it's really, this caching is, like it was before, is really extended to an offline mode, and there's more to come. So we have a real roadmap here that in later versions you can also say, I want like a view you can make and say all these things I want to have offline. But what was a major step for us right now is that you have your own data record types, including input assistances, logics available in addition with the already existing offline mode with radial menu, with lists, and with the caching of the complete dashboard and calendar. Another thing which was coming in a later X8 version is the support of the fingerprint. As I'm I'm so used to use that with my mobile that I'm searching that here, but the app detects that I'm in an emulator and that there's no fingerprint sensor, and therefore it doesn't show me that. So also fingerprint support, of course, was coming. As I already mentioned, redesign of the system, and to show you, maybe let's jump a little bit, that we are constantly really working on that. Yesterday there was a new version of the X9 app. That means it's not the first X9 app. So this is really, as you know, every 6 to 8 weeks we have new software updates with new functionalities, and this is already the second X9 app with new functions, mandatory fields, automatically created numbered group lists, receipts can be completely edited. So you see in every 6 to 8 weeks, we enhance the functionality, the already existing a lot of functionality here. We enhance it in Genesysworld mobile, in the mobile solutions, which you have on all platforms available, as already mentioned. So this is something where you can really look forward to a lot of things to come. Okay, leaving a little bit now the mobile apps. So we saw smart design, we saw the mobile apps, going a little bit to the desktop. First of all, in desktop, I want to show you the Skype integration. That means if I search here for John Doe, I have here the possibility to start a Skype call, and it's at the moment it's the not Skype for Business, former Link. It's yeah, the free Skype, because they have completely different interfaces, APIs, and we wanted to start with that. But as you saw on my slide, we will extend functionality in the topic unified communication. So we are heavily working on that as well. So this is the first step. I can also here start a chat in Skype or a Skype call, and I have it also available here, for example, in the smart search view of a participant. So this is not Mircha's really Skype address. So I just type something here just to show you that I can start a Skype call here. Another highlight in desktop client, which started also in X8, is the Outlook integration. First of all, sorry for having Outlook in German as my operating system, and this is free of cost from Microsoft, completely in English. The Outlook, Microsoft charges you quite a lot of money to having you're already licensed that in different languages. That's the reason why it's in German. So you have on the right side, you have here a so-called extended view, and I see the complete dossier of my data record type Mircha, which is here an email. I received an email from Mircha, so this is highlighted, and I have here the complete dossier of him. I can search in the dossier, I can click and open a data record type, I can phone him, I can show him in a map, I can email him, I can have another search here, for example, search something, I can switch here also to another contact person. So very powerful for the Outlook users that you see the complete dossier in Outlook itself, and by just I have to type, of course, something, workshop, for example, and I can double click, and then it opens either a web or desktop client. You can define that the data record type. So this is also really something heavily used and powerful. We'll extend the functionality there, and brings you the benefit as a customer that you can remain for some work in Outlook if you're using it as an email client, and see the full CRM functionality at one glance, at one click, without jumping between two applications, and you can also start some ongoing actions there. Another highlight which I wanted to mention in desktop client, we already talked a little bit about that. You see here now the opportunity opened, which I double clicked in the web, is the integration of the fan principle. That means I have here, I made a list of my fans, and you see that widget either in the list view, or if I double click in, I can show you that also in the details of the data record. And of course, there's also a report existing where I can make a fan portfolio. This is interesting if you, for example, want to see the results of a mixed list. Means I have numerous contacts, for example, and I want to show you how that looks like. At that I have only fans, because I only had that fans, for example. But if you have a mixed list, you have different results, and you want to see them. Another thing I already mentioned is the currency functionality. If we have a look at a product, so let's jump to the products, Genesysworld Platinum. You see that I can now have different prices. You have to switch on that functionality in the management console, and then I can here have different prices for all the currencies available. And when you create either an opportunity, or you put it in a project, or you make received an easy invoice, you can choose which currency is coming into is taken into account. So this is differing price information, which is new, and this alternative descriptions we already saw in web. Whereas that now long and short, but it can be also languages, for example. I can put in here alternative descriptions as well. And of course, if let's maybe go to an opportunity, if I want to add a product item, you have this optional stuff as well. Yeah, so that means if I add a new item, I have I can choose the text, I can choose the language, and I can mark it as you saw here also as optional. So this is consistent in the process. Yeah, so you have it in the desktop, you have it in the web client, and in both clients you can also make then quotes with a document from a template, which I skipped, as I said, for time reasons, and then this is also taken into account. From the modules, because I promised you an hour, and I don't want to overdo too much. From the modules, I want to show you the complete new facelift of our Helpdesk Online portal. That means Helpdesk Online has also a complete facelift, is now looking similar to Survey Online. What changed here also is forgot password. That means there's now easy logic that somebody who forgets the password has the chance to reset it by clicking that button, which was not possible in X8 version so easily like it is here. And what we changed as well is that you can also bring here other links. That means what is opened if somebody opens the Helpdesk Online. This was something which was coming in the late X8 version. So here, complete new facelift. You have now here buttons for the very important things like new requests, report a problem. This is still configurable, but this is now a button. You have the same is on the right side. You have here also for the views, it's not longer in one horizontal line. You have a button. The same is if I open a request, for example, right now we have so-called overlays. Nope, not that. First want to show you something different. Overlays means if, for example, let me putting that, I can put that via drag and drop here. This is one functionality, and I can bring it via a drag and drop in the system. And coming back to what I said with the overlay, if here I said upload a file, then really a new window opens, upload a file where I can use drag and drop. This is an overlay approach, which was not the case in former versions. And as I said, the important buttons are now emphasized, easy to use, or the easier usage is here also something which was a goal of us. One last thing which I like very much is that now the system shows here on the, I will take a better example. Yeah, I hope that that's a better one. Yeah, a little bit better. You see here that the whole life cycle of a ticket with the comments of the persons are shown. That means you see here John Doe, he uploaded a file, he did here a new request, or if I I think it was my first example. Yeah, I see here the support guy, Mircea, wrote something. Yeah, it's an example, it doesn't make sense here. And if it's longer, you see the whole life cycle of the ticket with the comments, very easy at one glance. And of the right side, you see the details of the ticket. For example, you see it here. So this is one thing we did here. A facelift of the help desk online portal. Another major feature we integrated here is that from now on you can send emails which are sent to a certain account can be automatically created. Tickets can be automatically created out of that. That means when I make Mircea's demo account here as a support account, every email which is created is sent to that account. An email is created, ticket is created, I'm sorry. The system looks if the email address is known already, yeah, and then links it automatically. And if the email address is not known, the system is putting then the email address in a new field called communication. And this works, of course, also for existing tickets. So if a customer sends an answer at a certain this certain email account, this is also automatically linked. So this is also a wish from which is existing for quite a long time, that Genesysworld, the help desk module, is automatically creating or enhancing tickets when you send an email to a certain account. That means the only thing you have to do, it's a user right. First of all, I skip that. And the second thing you have to do is then configure here an email account like support@CAS CRM .com as a support account. Yes, okay. So this were only some highlights, and I want to mention briefly two other things before we have a short little recap. Our summer license packages, things are still running until end of July, so some days. So we offer here a premium package plus, and other attractive license packages where you can save some money. If you say that was so interesting that we individually we want to start at once with new users, and you can save some money using that promo. If you're interested, ask your CAS CRM partner for details. And another thing which I wanted to mention is that we want to or that we will have a new module called Smart Design View. That means a light user license. It's putting so it's not the final title, so that's the reason why it's putting here in comma Smart Design View. The goal is that for not everybody is a CRM power user. Not everybody is needing desktop client. Not everybody is needing full functionality of Genesysworld web and mobile apps. But everybody wants to make CRM in a company. He wants to have a look at a contact and to want to change it. I want to see the calendar of colleagues. He wants to make an easy task, but he's not interested in changing a sales visit report. And for that reason, we made a new module called Smart Design View, where you have access to some data records with full access rights, to other with reading access only, and with Genesysworld web and mobile. And this will be available from autumn 2017 with Genesysworld X9 with a very attractive price. So that means if you want to in the future want to integrate persons in your in your company who are not doing a CRM so far and have not so much requirements, but you want to integrate them in the process. This is an easy way to bring them with Genesysworld Web. Means very easy to use, very, you saw that, very intuitive. You can bring them also into the CRM world. Also here, ask either us or your local partner for details. And there's a lot more, really. And I can't show you everything, but there's already an English brochure available for the new functionalities of X9 in English, which you can download from our international webpage, cascrm.com. And there you see some highlights I also mentioned, described in this brochure. And yeah, maybe to recap a little bit before we end, I hope you saw that it really happened a lot in the X9 version, starting from the complete new layout of the smart design, means Genesysworld Web and the mobile apps, about the powerful app designer with scripting, with link integration, about the fan principle, showing contacts in cards, optional positions, multi-currency support, facelift of the mobile apps, offline mode of the mobile apps, the help desk renewal, Skype integration, smart search integration, Outlook integration, fingerprint support, and so on and so on. There are a lot of minor things more. You see that we really live customer centricity as at CAS. And we want to bring every 6 to 8 weeks, as I show you in the new software updates, also new good functionality into the system, so that you have a easy to use, state-of-the-art system which you really love. And we will continue that with the ongoing X9 versions, and bring a lot of more things into the system. I hope you liked it a little bit, and you get the information you received. I would, as I said in the beginning, Mitch and I will leave the webinar open for some more minutes, so that you can also bringing in asking your questions. Of course, every customer, and I really want to thank all the customers who joined us today. Normally we make a lot of webinars for prospects and a lot of webinars for partners, but this is especially a webinar for customers, and thank you also for joining us today. If you have detailed questions, if you found something interesting and you want to extend your existing Genesysworld installation, just ask your local partner, but of course you can also speak to us. Yeah, thank you very, very much for your attention.